What's going on, y'all? Sorry for that weird intro there. Some settings were a little bit mixed up here that I had to fix, so forgive me. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Joel Friday TV. I am Joel Friday. Welcome to the show. A few announcements before we get started. Hit that like button, smack it. Lay the smack down the like, subscribe, and share button. Tell your peoples about the show so we get the subscribers up and the message out. Do it now. Help a brother out. Amazing stuff. As you guys know, we are a talk show and we are live Monday through Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. As you guys know, you can call in at any point during the show. 888-775-3773. 888-775-3773. And we can talk about whatever you want. We can get into it. We can argue. We can fellowship. I'm here for it all. All in the name of Jesus. All in the name of love. Amazing stuff. If for whatever reason you can't call in, but you still have a question or comment, or you just want to support the show, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/JoelFridayTV. The link is in the description, YouTube description, or go directly to the YouTube live chat. Hit the super chat button. Send your question or comments there. I'll read them live on air. Amazing stuff. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. I have some things I want to present to you guys today. As you guys see by the title, it's a question that a lot of people wonder. Are homosexuals born gay? Are they? Are they? It's a question that people have, and I want to get into it. I seen Joel, give me your shirt to iron. I know my shirt's a little wrinkled. I was rushing this morning. Let me explain. My shirt is wrinkled. I'm a big advocate for not having irons, because why do you need to iron? I never needed to iron in like 15 years because after I wash my clothes, I hang them up. Don't need to iron. But this shirt was brand new, but I was rushing this morning, and when I took it out the pack, it was folded up. So I thought it was going to be unwrinkled by the time I got to the show, but it's not. But just pretend it's not there. Don't look at it. Listen to what I had to say. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, Ryan Moon. Yes, homeowners are born. Come on, Ryan. I can't say that. Yes, homeowners. That's how he hides, how he censors himself without saying the words that may get my channel demonetized. So thank you for being discreet, Ryan, but sheesh. Appreciate the super chat. C-Sal said your wife should be ashamed, Joel. I don't have a wife, C-Sal. Wow. What a dig. Amazing stuff. That's unmodded. That's why you got unmodded. If I can unmod you twice. I'm just playing. Okay. I was watching Logan Paul has a podcast. Some of you guys know. CG says, yes, sir, not looking. Some of you guys know that Logan Paul has a podcast. And Logan Paul was talking to a pastor on his podcast, and they were talking about homosexuality. And Logan has a different belief than the pastor does, and I found it pretty interesting. So I kind of want to play that for you guys, and we kind of break it down together. I have a couple points that I want to make about it as a whole, and I'll make those points as we go. But I want to play that, and we're going to do like a pause and play type action type of situation here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here. Watch, because I'm so slick. Watch. We're going to go over here like this. Whoa. I never done this one actually before, so we're going to do this together. We're about to learn this together, y'all. Boom. I'm going to play this over here. I'm going to go to Section 8. Not Section 8. Studio 8. And we're going to go boom here. Okay, so I'm going to play this. This is from YouTube, an Impulsive podcast. Logan Paul asked his guest, pastors Cliff Nechtel and son Stuart Nechtel, about the purpose of life, homosexuality, the Bible, and more. Let's get to it here. Hold on. Give me a second. Wait. No volume. Why is there no volume? Give me a second. Okay. Hold on. Clip is playing, but we're not seeing any volume here. Hake normally does this, so maybe Hake can help me. Do you know how to make Studio 8 do the volume?
Let's see.
Hold on 1 second, guys. Because there's no volume.
Oh, you might have to restart your...
Make sure the tab is unmuted. Is it not going here?
You might have to restart this program, that one audio program.
Oh, because it's not going.
It might be that.
Okay. Give me 1 second. Sorry, technical issues here, folks. We're trying to work it out. I'm trying to figure out, Bill, why I'm not being able to play the audio here. So let me do this. 1 second. Universal control has to end.
Yeah, it might be that.
Okay. Now let me try it again.
Oh, not that one, but the other program.
Oh, shoot.
That one too, maybe. But I'm thinking about the...
How come it's not going on?
Okay,
what's up? We're trying to figure out how to...
There's no audio in Studio 8. But don't you have to open up that program?
Which one?
The one next to it.
Oh, this one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Close it out, maybe? Or
And then go again.
And open it again, maybe.
Right, click the tab and see if it stays unmuted. Nick is texting me, but I'm not sure what he's in Chrome. Okay, let's see. Usually Nick is in here, but Nick had to step out for a second.
I do see this is muted right now.
Okay. Oh, okay. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the problem.
Yeah.
It could just be that. Something simple as that. Watch.
I'm just trying.
There we go. It was me the whole time. It was me. All right. Thank you guys for helping me. Okay. Lord have mercy. What a mess. What kind of professional podcast is this? Okay. Here we go. Let's go back to it. And then we're going to get the show on the road. Here we go. Okay, let's start this over. Impulsive podcast. All right, let's see here.
Backing up, what he's looking for is some sort of understanding of this code of intolerance that exists within standardized religion sets, right? So like, why is there a Christian belief towards man and woman being the only union that is acceptable? Why is a belief set on abortion in X, Y, and Z scenarios?
Bingo.
Like, what? And once again, not me asking, but this is
It's me
a
asking.
big thing for
Through
him.
Mike.
Right.
Abortion is
I'm
another
trying
one.
Yeah.
Put it together.
Well, so the difficult question is, what is the purpose for which God made us? And if there is no God, life is a crapshoot. It's meaningless. But if God created us for a purpose, then we better figure what that purpose is. Now, according to Jesus Christ, life is not a cosmic crapshoot. According to Christ, life has been given us by God for a purpose, to love God with our heart, soul, mind, and strength, and to love our neighbor as ourselves, is the way he summarized it. Okay? Then he gets more specific. When it comes to sexuality, we read in Genesis 2:24 that when God created us, he created us male and female and said, for this reason, a man shall leave his father and mother, be united to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. So there's a very positive statement of why God created our sexuality, male and female. God could have had procreation happen at the end of a Q-tip. When a man and a woman mix their earwax, little babies could have been born that way.
That would be crazy.
He didn't choose to do it that way. He chose to create us male and female And that is a gift from him. It's a beautiful gift.
I never thought of this before, but does an omission from the scripture indicate a sin or a non-accepted way of producing a certain outcome? I.e., God presented to us Adam and Eve and said, man shall marry woman. But I'm sure you're going to give me passages, but was there anything in Genesis that said, but man shall not marry man or woman should not marry woman? Like,
No.
I'm sure.
Genesis communicates that to have sex outside of a lifelong commitment between one man and one woman is not cool.
Got it.
Be fruitful and multiply.
Sorry, I'm gonna mess up on the scripture a little bit. I need to brush back up.
What's the exact scripture? He did say it's not cool.
Well, no,
You're exactly right.
What did
That's
he-
not in the Hebrew.
What did he say?
It's not a Hebrew scholar to me.
Look at that.
Genesis 7,
this is not cool.
Being gay ain't cool. I don't think that was. That wasn't in there, man.
L's in the chat. What is it though? What is the actual? What did you?
Well, Genesis 2:24 is a clear statement about he creates us male and female to become husband and wife. Then in Genesis chapter 19, different sexual immorality is communicated there, different forms of sexual immorality.
But why would God then create
Good
a
question.
male who's attracted to a male if, like, God created all of us? Why would he create someone that goes directly against, like
Incredible question.
guys, like being gay isn't a choice. No one, I think few people are like, oh, I'm attracted to the same sex. I believe.
Isn't that
so-
changing though? Because
Say-
I think the
say again?
LGBTQ movement not too long ago said it's not a choice, but the queer movement now is saying it is a choice.
Look.
And they're like,
Hey.
like hating each other.
This is way above my pay grade. I don't know. I believe people are made that way. I happen to be heterosexual. I'm attracted to women. Attracted to one woman now. But I believe you're attracted to who you're attracted to. Granted, like, yeah, things are super fluid now, and like people are making decisions based on like their environment, what they see, whatever. But like, I would argue that, like, if I think certain people are just attracted to who they are attracted to. So why would God create someone in his image who goes directly against his codex that he created?
Okay, they're about to do a weird ad thing. So really quick, while that's doing that, I'm gonna explain a little bit really quick, and then we're gonna come back to this real quick because they're gonna do a weird ad. What the? Hold on. Let's go back to here. Hold up. Cam. Okay. So while that's happening there, I love that Logan Paul. First off, I love that Logan Paul is questioning this kind of stuff because a lot of people don't sit there and actually make sense of what these things are. They kind of just like go based off of a belief that somebody else told them, and then they end up just following that and not just really being genuine. So shout out to Logan Paul for questioning these things and then having this, Logan Paul doesn't have to have this guy on his show, this pastor, to question these things. He has a platform, he makes enough money, and he can just believe his own stuff and push his own agenda and not have these people come on the show to prove him wrong. So shout out to Logan Paul for being open to having the conversation about these things, even though it really doesn't affect him, whether it's real or not, whether homosexuals are born gay or not. So I like the fact that Logan Paul is at least opening the conversation for his viewers and for himself for a better understanding. So shout out to him. I have some comments about the topic in general, but we're going to continue. Let me see here.
I didn't expect you to look at me right there.
All right.
No. Well, I'll just say, briefly, I think it's, again, I think you have to, the people that I know,
Let's go back
I think
a
you
little
have
bit.
to, I didn't expect you to look at me right there.
All right.
His codex that he created.
I didn't expect you to look at me right there.
All right.
No. Well, I'll just say, briefly, I think it's, again, I think you have to, the people that I know who are SSA, same-sex attraction, the ones who have decided to live a life of celibacy, devoted fully to Christ, they have claimed this level of their own personal flourishing that is just beyond imagination. Like I've talked to some of these people, I've read a lot of their testimonies. And so I don't think ultimately that it, excuses the pain because we know different scholars who are incredible New Testament scholars who, based off the experience of a close loved one becoming gay or being born gay, they have changed their very interpretation.
I don't really quite know what he's talking about here. Like he's kind of just carrying on a little bit, but bear through it, and I think he's gonna be making some sense in a second.
Of Scripture. And so it's so hard once you just what you said. I totally agree in terms of how the experience plays into your own emotions, because you feel just tragedy for this person who's actually, if you're going to tell them the Mike Pence conversion therapy is what you have to go through to get out of this homosexuality, like that's tough.
That's where I start to harbor resentment.
But
So really quick, what basically he's saying is that Logan Paul doesn't like the fact that conversion therapy exists, because it's basically telling the homosexual that here's a way for you to stop being a bad person. Here's conversion therapy. When in Logan Paul's ideology, he believes that no, you're born that way. So why do we have to impose transversion therapy on people who want to be who they want to be? So that's what they're talking about.
remember, like the Bible talks well over 300 times about heterosexual sin and only 6 times about homosexual sin.
Ooh.
And so Christians want to put homosexuality on this crazy pedestal. And I think it's just because they find a level of disgust in it, which is really sad. I mean, all sin there's a form level of disgust that they would say.
Shame.
But shame, exactly. But for us as heterosexuals, we got to look at it as we have way more sin to wrestle with in many ways.
I don't want to make this like a...
Let me just comment on that really quick. That's such a good point to me. I don't know if you guys agree or not, but that's a great point to me. What he's saying is that like Christians do point out homosexuality as being the abomination of everything, but there's also other sins that heterosexual people do that you know what I mean? And that's not the worst sin in the world is not homosexuality, but Christians we tend to approach it and treat others as such, when there's other sins as well that we do ourselves and in our personal lives that are just as equally a mess. So Christians really take the whole homosexual thing way too far. Now, of course, the homosexuals do impose it. They impose that on us. But you got to remember the reason why they're imposing their sexuality on us is because they felt like they've been judged and they didn't have a space to do it, or they didn't have a right to be homosexual. So out of their anger and feeling rejected, they're now going overboard and trying to shove it back in our face. But, you know, it's not the worst sin in the world. You know what I mean? It's all the same. It's all equally sinful. So if you're mad at their sin, think about your own. Take the speck out of your own eye. But anyway, let's keep it moving. I know Nugget Man's going crazy right now.
What aboutism thing, you know?
Right.
I'm asking specifically.
He's going to go another direction. Ask
Like,
him. And I know the direction he's going.
All right. See, when you listen to yourself talk the way you did, I think there's a presupposition you've got, which is God created me the way I was born. And the Bible contradicts that. Meaning by that, I was not born with a desire to forgive. You hurt me bad enough, I'm coming after you. That's naturally what I do. So then I've got God's help because I am a mixed up
I'm sorry, guys.
truck and slammed him over the head. Created me to be this way. Give. To come after you. And enough, I'm coming after you. That's... And...
Sorry, guys. I just wanted to rewind this because this is such a key part. Make sure you guys pay attention to this section here because he breaks down how human beings are born.
Presupposition you've got, which is...
Ask him. And I know the direction he's going.
All right. See, when you listen to yourself talk the way you did, I think there's a presupposition you've got, which is God created me the way I was born. And the Bible contradicts that. Meaning by that, I was not born with a desire to forgive. You hurt me bad enough, I'm coming after you. That's naturally what I do. So then I've got to ask myself the question, my desire to come after you and seek revenge, is that what God created me to do? Or did God create me to forgive? I was not born with a heterosexual drive to have sex with just one woman. I was born with a heterosexual drive to have sex with as many good-looking women as I could get into bed with me. This whole idea that God created me to be this way, no. I am born with something that Jesus in the Bible calls a readiness to sin factor. When I was a little kid playing in a sandbox with a buddy, I got ticked with a buddy. So ticked, I picked up a metal truck and slammed him over the head with it.
Cops are still looking for you, by the way.
That's right. All right, it came very naturally. I never saw that behavior modeled from my environment. It was sort of an instinct. It just sort of happened. So this whole idea that every drive that I have that I'm born with is good, no, I've got a lot of drives that are not good. In fact, I'm a mixed up kid. That's why I need God's help, because I am a mixed up kid.
So through that analogy, then, is it safe to say that you believe that
it sounds like you're saying homosexuality is a choice. You're
not a choice, but
to someone's ability to forgive, which I think is a faulty.
No. I think he was comparing
have sex with many different women. I don't have to. And the guy at the University of Arizona who said, I date. And I said, really, why do you date? And he said, because I have a very high testosterone level. Okay, I didn't say,
that?
Yeah.
That's a crazy thing to say.
It is crazy.
Wild
I didn't say to him, no, you don't have a very high testosterone level. I don't know. I don't know the chemical makeup of his body. But what I do know is he still has a free will. He does not have to date.
Right.
Date
I think it's a
women.
faulty analogy, Cliff.
How?
Because you're comparing that to like someone's intuition and who they're attracted to. You know,
Yeah, I'm
like,
attracted to many women.
Are you attracted to men?
No,
Why not?
because that's the way I'm hardwired. That's
Okay.
my
So what
chemicals.
if someone is hardwired the exact opposite way by their God, and then not accepted
Great-
by their
great
God
point.
because God's book says we don't accept you because you're this way.
First of all, God accepts all of us. He loves all of us. All right. So everybody is loved. Everybody has equal value and dignity. The whole idea that I am more valuable because I'm a heterosexual is a joke. It's false. I'm not valuable before God because I'm heterosexual. Right? God creates all human beings in his image, but we're all mixed up kids.
Hey guys, if you like that clip, hit this.
Nice. So let's get into this because this was very interesting, and I wanna talk about it. So Cliff, the pastor there, talks about. Let's break this down. So he talks about how that our natural inclination being born is not to do good. It's we're born in a fallen way. We're already set out to overcome from the very time birth happens, right? And I agree with that statement. I think that because of the act, right? Because of the way we have to come together and reproduce, we are fallen. It's a fallen act, and because of that, we give birth. Or not we, but, women. And our whole life is we go through the process of overcoming. If we have good parents that are guiding us in the best way, it happens sooner than later, right? But we are, by nature, subject to doing what we ought not to, right? So I agree with that. Yes to born fallen, in my opinion, right? But then Cliff goes on to say, Cliff is the pastor, Pastor Cliff goes on to say that Logan asked him, does your nature like women or men? And then Cliff says, women. He said, why doesn't it like men? And then Cliff says, I'm not hardwired that way. This is where I disagree. Okay. And then Logan asked them about, well, what about if the homosexual is hardwired that way? Okay, this is where my opinion comes in. because I don't think anybody is hardwired to like either men or like either women. I think sexuality in general is a perversion. It's a perversion. Now, there's an acceptable way to go about doing these things. That's why we have marriage. That's why we have making of babies. There's an acceptable way to go about it when you're doing one person. But both of them are a perversion. And this is why I always tell Christians, too, when I have the conversation, is that homosexuality and heterosexuality are both perverse. They both are a fallen nature. And they're both created out of a fallen state. Because in heaven, I wouldn't know, haven't been there, I don't imagine anybody being straight or gay. To me, I see it as brother and sister. You overcome these things and you become brother and sister, right? But it's a perverse thing. There's no such thing, in my opinion, as homosexuality. This is just a thing, and I've said this before on my show before, is that it's a category that was created to identify with these feelings that one has, right? And then eventually it got to the point where people start to think that this is just who I am instead of what I'm going through, right? What I'm dealing with. So homosexuality has became this like identity, which is not good, to where now people think that that's who they are. That's how they were born. No, like Cliff said, we were born fallen in this fallen way. And through our traumas as a child, as we grow up, whether it be bad parenting, whether it be environment, where our desires, our nature, our fallen nature is led to go to more and more fallen things and do different fallen things. And we're guided into the ways of the ego, right? The emotions, the fallen nature. And out of that is when we start picking up these things that we start gravitating to. But it's not a natural state and it's not who you are. It's just being lost in the world. And heterosexual people, which are straight people, have that same thing. It's just more accepted when it's done properly with a man and a woman, right? Because you reproduce, you could do it in the windows, in the eyes of marriage, and you can work on yourself and have a relationship that's semi with God in the middle. That's the idea. But even still, you guys may not like this point, but it's my opinion. Even still, we're still operating in a fallen state, even though we're married. Even though we're married, we're still operating in a fallen state because that lustful desire, that lust is still fallen. It's still not it's not walking completely in the light of God. But God's grace is there. So we're able to do it properly and get along to go along. But eventually we are to still overcome even that. It's still a fallen act, or whether you put it, however you place it, it's a fallen act. So Cliff also talks about the purpose of life, and I'm going to tie it all together. The purpose of life is, in my opinion, is to overcome all things and walk in peace and harmony, right? Paradise on earth. The idea is for us to return to return to heaven, even on earth, right? Because we started in heaven. So our purpose is to overcome our situation and find God again. Find God, find where we left off, and to remember who we actually are. And we do that by going through the process of life, learning and growing, working on ourselves, forgiveness, all these things, right? And when we get to that point, then we have paradise on earth. We're walking in the spirit. We're the example to share to the earth. We're the light on the hill, the lamp on the hill, right? All these things. That's what the purpose of life is. But in the process of us getting to that purpose, we have families. we date, we do these things, but that's all just in the process of overcoming, right? Family and dating is not overcoming, it's the process of overcoming. Am I making sense here? Am I making sense? So a lot of people want to put family on the top, and family's great. Of course, you should have a family if it's meant for you to have a family. Amen to it. There's nothing wrong with having a family or nothing, but that's also not the standard. You know what I mean? You have a family in your process of overcoming your desires and your stuff, right? That's part of the process, but that's not the end result. That's not peace. Peace is not family. And a lot of people think that too. A lot of Christians think that that's the pinnacle. That's not the pinnacle. Because even with your family, each individual in that family has to overcome. You know what I mean? So to the Christians, myself included, and everybody, that this homosexuality versus straight thing it's just another like pro-abortion versus anti-abortion war fight. It's just another fight. It's just another fight, two devils fighting against each other. Just so you know, it's just another two devils fighting against each other because both of you guys are the same. You know what I mean? One identifies with homosexuality and the other identifies with heterosexuality. They both don't exist. In the sense that they are not who you are. You're not a straight person. You're not a homosexual. Those are both perversions. So two perverse people are fighting. That's why God said don't judge, because you don't know. You don't understand. We don't know these things. We don't know. We don't understand. That's why God says do not judge. Because we don't understand what's going on. Because the very thing that we're judging, we're the same exact thing. Joel, are you mad? I'm passionate, forgive me. I'm working on my passions. But I just wanted to make that point because a lot of people search in the world. I did it, I know. Search for their purpose, right? What is my purpose? What is my purpose? And our only purpose is to overcome and have paradise on earth, perfect peace. Everybody in the entire world is searching for that. Everyone's looking for perfect peace. They're not looking for a wife. They're not looking for a husband. They're not looking for a car. Not looking for a house. Not looking for a career. They're looking for perfect peace. They just don't know it, right? And in the process, we pick up all these other things. But and why is it that way? Because that's how God created it. He created us to find our way back to Him. That's how it was created. And of course, the enemy, the devil, Satan, his job is to mimic everything that God does. So he made a false Holy Spirit, which is the ego, right? And he made a false love, which is happiness and excitement. No, sorry, lust. Lust. He made a false joy, which is happiness. You know what I mean? He made a false version of it so we can have it and think that that's the real deal, and it's not. So there's two realities, but when we really start seeking God is when we start finding the real one, and it's nothing like you think. And that's why we're not supposed to argue with people who don't see, because how could they defend something they don't see? So family and all that stuff is a great thing, but that's also still a fallen thing. It comes from us on our way to overcoming. That's why it's okay if you're dating and you're experiencing life and you're learning, right? And you're making mistakes and you're not perfect and all these things. It's okay because that's all part of the process of overcoming. So don't think just because you got a family and you guys believe in God and all that stuff that you better when it still took the fallen act to make the family. Know what I mean? So that's what I wanted to say about that. It was a great clip because Logan Paul is just looking for, he's just questioning things, but nobody was born gay. Nobody is born straight. Everybody's born fallen, in my opinion. This is my opinion. Everybody's born fallen, and depending on the direction of their life is where they end up going. Whether it's influenced to be gay or whether they've had a traumatic experience that made them overreact in their mind. And then now they think that they're, it's just all things, all illusions that we believe into, when in actuality we all are just the Spirit of God. We're all the Spirit of God. We just forgot. So that's what I want to say about that. I know you guys are talking mess. I know all my chats across the board are talking mess right now. But that's okay. Because, it's part of the conversation. But I want to read some super chats real quick, and then I'll get to some calls. 888-775-3773. Somebody called me a bisexual in the chat. And Hake timed them out. Right on, Hake. Moderators holding it down. Let me check real quick. Super chats. We need callers. I know people are going crazy in the chat. Let me see. Give me 1 second here, guys. I'm pulling up the super chats. See what you guys are saying. Mumra with the donut says humans are traumatized into evil, including homosexuality. The world now is convinced into affirming it. Diabolical. Yeah. Nobody looks at the other side of the fence, which is heterosexuality. Ain't nobody calling that out. You know what I mean? Ryan Moon. No, we got Ryan Moon. Lord Bibby says all them LGBTQ got one thing in common. Trauma that they never dealt with. Yep. And heterosexuals got the trauma too. And with their trauma, what do? They go find a wife, find a husband. They go chase it. Not happen naturally. They go chase it. But we all got our little stuff. But anyway, let me go to the calls here. 888-775-3773. Chat needs to take a minute to do the silent prayer, says C-Cell. I don't got time to read the chat. I'll read it later. Joe out of Phoenix on the line. Joe, welcome to the show. You're on the air. Oh.
Hey, what's up, man?
Oh, this is not Joe?
Yeah, this is Josh from Georgia.
Oh, wait. My screen, hold on 1 second, Josh. I'm going to keep you on, but my screen is telling me two different things. I got to fix that real quick. Hold on.
No problem, man. Okay.
Wow. Wow, that was weird. Okay, go ahead, Josh.
Okay, man. Yeah, I was calling about the two calls you had last week, and it's definitely related to this subject right here. I mean, it was about what you were just talking about, because it's like when JC had asked you about have you accepted Jesus into your heart?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like, yeah, that's like the conservative right-wing Christian question. That it was like when he asked you that,
Yeah.
that's when you became like Amber Rose and he became that white guy that was, what's that guy that was talking down Amber Rose?
Matt Walsh. Matt Walsh.
Matt Walsh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, we think of JC as more of the liberal type of guy. So it's like maybe he's actually more conservative than he thought he was, you know. And Mark would probably agree with him with that. You would need to accept Jesus into your heart, you know. So like they're really the same. That's what most conservative Christians think. But it's an illusion. What they call it, polarization.
Yeah.
They just want to create two sides. It seems like Mark and JC are on the opposite side, but they're really they're really the same.
Great. No, that's a great point, Josh. And I think more people would realize that we actually agree on a lot more in other areas of life than we lead on to. Like everything is about us versus them, this versus this versus this. And I know in a practical way, sometimes we got to do it, but we get carried away and then we start to demonize the other side as bad or evil when maybe just in this situation we disagree, but maybe in other aspects of life we actually relate. You know what I mean? So that's a great point you're making.
Yeah, and real quick, when Mark had asked you, he said the black man was created to serve the white man.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, if you think about that question without emotions,
Yeah.
I actually agree.
In what way?
In
what way?
Say again?
In what way?
I mean. It comes down to what it means to serve somebody, like if that's what a so-called Christian is supposed to. We're supposed to serve our fellow man. We're sons of God. We're the salt of the earth. We're the light of the world. We're supposed to serve our fellow men.
But I don't think Mark meant it that way. Mark meant it in the way, Mark meant it in the way of blacks aren't smart enough, so they can only serve the man who is smart, which is the white. That's how he meant. That's how he.
But I still agree with that. I still agree with Mark on that. You know why? Because it's like all he's really saying is that blacks are good at certain things and whites are good at certain things. Whites are good at building civilizations and societies and running governments. That's why they have the best country.
Yeah.
Blacks, we're not good at that. We're good at sports. We're good at entertainment.
But that's today.
Dancing.
And I agree with what you're saying, but that's today. You know what I mean? That's why I don't put the color on it, because we're just going based off of the world as we know it. But I don't see it as the color thing. I see it as like, why weren't there any, who says there weren't any blacks back when that we don't know about that also were building and creating and innovating and doing these things? I don't think it was now we see it more, of course, because that's where the culture, white culture and black culture, has evolved to today. But I don't know if that's, how do we know that that's been the case for forever? You know what I mean?
Really? I think that's Africa has never been somewhere where people want to go live,
In the last 100 years that we know of, though. But what about 200 years
Really?
ago? What about 300 years ago? You know what I mean? What was Africa then? That
I think, bro. I think it's always been that way, bro. I think it's all. I think that's just like if I was in a dance battle, I would want you on my team. If I was playing sports, that's just like what it is. You know, it's not an insult to you. A lot of white guys are jealous that they can't play sports or dance or do things blacks can do. You know, it's not like an insult.
But there is,
Asians, huh?
No, go ahead. Finish your point. I thought you.
It's like Asians are good at math. They're good at building Toyotas, and it's a stereotype. They say that's racist. They say the Jew and Jew. Everyone knows what Jews are good at, banking and running Hollywood. Right? It's true though. It's just the truth. That's just what different races seem to be good at different things. It's not like putting one down, but if we all work together. I don't mind picking. I pick cotton for $100,000 a year. If I'm good at picking cotton and Mark is good at owning the plantation, I'll go work for him.
I get your point.
To do what? Well, go ahead.
I get your point. Just because I'm edging to the time, close to the time here, so I'm just trying to get.
Okay.
But I can understand. I can understand your point, and you're saying more so. Let's just all work together instead of trying to say, well, how come he gets to have that and I get to have that, and just kind of each accept our own gifts that we've been given and we work together. And I can understand that point, and that seems like a genuine point. But I think that there's also whites who can dance. There's also whites who can play basketball. There's also whites who run fast, but there's also blacks who are very smart, have a high IQ. There's also blacks who build. There's also, so to me, I just try to, in reality, the today we live in, of course, we see certain groups do more things better than other groups, but it doesn't mean that they own that thing. To me, they don't own building things. Oh, whites are the builders, and blacks are the basketball players.
Mexicans are the builders.
Right.
Mexicans are the builders, bro. No, go ahead.
No, but I just think that I think it's more. I think it's I don't think it's a color thing. I think it's just life. But I got some other calls here. I gotta get to, Josh. If I had more time, I would spend it with you. But
I'll be calling you, man. I'll be calling you, bro.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you,
Call
man.
me again.
All right, man.
I gotta move the calls here, but I just don't think it's a color thing. That's just my opinion. Maybe one day I'll be like, oh shoot, dang, the whites do got all of it. But I don't think, why would God make me less than? You know what I mean? Why would God make JLP less than the whites? I just can't, the chemicals in my brain don't add up. Let me go to Anthony. First time caller out of California. Anthony, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, Joel. Thanks for having me on. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you fine. Thanks for calling.
Thanks for having me, man. Your show today was really good timing in my life. Basically, my little brother, he just graduated college, and I've been a bit emotional lately. I've been a bit angry, so I apologize if it distorts my ideas, but basically, he has the idea that he came out to me recently, and he told me how he feels, and essentially he told me he learned in school that he went to UC Berkeley. By the way, he studied psychology over there, and they told him in the classes that basically being gay is an adaptive mechanism during times of high global population. So it's a way for humans to essentially keep the numbers low while we are in a time of low resources. I don't know if that's true or not. It doesn't sound true. But they also told him things like he he's convinced now he's able to start a family with another man, raise children with another man, have a successful life with another man. And these are things that he never had in his head until he went to school.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, the problem is, Joel, we grew up in a broken home. You know, like, our parents are just screwed. I mean, they have their issues. I know they did their best, but me and my brother always had like this. We related to each other because we knew we didn't want to make the same mistake as them. You know, we wanted to like break the curse. And I feel so. He talks to me like I'm this old person that doesn't know what he's talking about. You know, like I'm like I'm not woke. You know, like I'm asleep. He looks at me like that, and I just don't know how to like manage. Like I just feel so much, but it's mainly just anger. Because he was on the right track, man. You know, like he was doing okay, and then he went to school, came back, and he thinks what's right is wrong and what's wrong is right. I have my own issues, Joel. I'm not perfect, man. But this just so hearing you say, hey, take the speck out of your own eye, you know, that really helped me calm down. But I just don't know how to handle this, dude. Like,
good. That's a great question. You know, I've dealt with a similar situation with family members, very similar situation. What I realized too is that you just gotta let people live their own lives and suffer. One thing that I'm realizing, Anthony, that's really helpful is that the only time right and wrong comes in is when you have a lack of an understanding. Because right and wrong is just you judging. You're judging his situation as wrong, and you're judging your situation as right, and that's what's making you angry. But if you realize there's a reason why he believes the way he believes, and he's on his own path, and you just gotta let him find his way through it, then that's not a wrong path to be on. He'll bump his head a few times, and if it's meant for him to come out of it, it'll only make him stronger. So it's not wrong that he's going down that path. That's the path that he's going on. And you just got to trust the process. And it's really not our business to try to get involved in family members' life, friends' life, or anything. We should let them suffer if they're suffering. We should let them, you know, argue or disagree, let them be, and just focus on our own lives because we got our own things to worry about. If that makes sense.
That's, you know, I appreciate that. That's helpful. But so here's the thing, like if you know, growing up together, like I want to start a family soon, you know, I feel like I don't want to push him out of my life for that. You know, I don't want to be like that, but I just feel like I'm impressionable, and it's not like I'm, you know, he's going to turn me gay or whatever, but I feel like I just don't want, I don't want my kids to have that idea in their head. I don't want you know, I just don't want it to affect me. And my problem is I can't see a way out besides like cutting him off.
Why don't you cut him off? What's wrong with doing that?
Because I'm just so used to going through problems with him and helping him out and stuff, but
that's why that also the helping out. I don't know exactly what you're doing by helping him out, but helping out isn't always helping. It can be hurting him. You're not letting him be out on his own, do his own thing, make his own decisions, fall, bang his head. You gotta cut him off if you need to cut him off, because for one, if it's affecting you, you're not doing it to make him feel better. You're doing it to make yourself feel better for whatever. Maybe to feel like a positive influence on your big brother, or you're the big brother and you're the positive influence. But no, if he's affecting your life and you guys don't get along, it's not hard feelings and it's not personal to cut him off.
Yeah, I didn't think about it like that.
Do you feel guilty for it?
I wasn't the best older brother, man. I mean, I can't, you know, because growing up, I do feel guilty for it because I remember growing up, he would spend a lot of time with my mom, and she wasn't healthy. She would like kind of treat him like a girl, like put like gloss on his lips and put like clear gloss on his nail, you know, and he had his own like little makeup stash that he would hide from me, and as a kid I remember experiencing that, and I would just I would avoid it, I would block it out, like I couldn't process it. So now I really do feel guilty because as a kid I should have been like, Mom, that's wrong, like that's your son.
Yeah, but you didn't know. If you would have knew better, you would have did better. But I'm running out of time here, so I got to end my show soon. But I do want to just say really quick, and then I'll let you let me know what you think. Is that you got to just be able to cut him off and do your thing and live your own life. But the way I would go about it, in my opinion, is sit down with him and be real about it. Be real and be like, hey, look, you know, I see that. Tell him what you're telling me. Like, I see that we don't agree on these things, and that's okay. You have the right to believe what you believe, and I don't have the right to impose my beliefs on you. But it is affecting me, and it's not because I don't love you as a brother, but it's just because I don't think that it's best for us to be hanging out like this or talking like this. I think we should just give each other a break or separate, and you do your thing and I do my thing, and we just do it. We go about it that way because this is not helpful, or just something like that. You know what I mean? To where you're being real with him, and he can understand, and you're not like just cutting him off and you know, there's a weird energy there. No, just be real about it. Tell him that, and if he feels a certain way about it, then that's on him. But you did the right thing. You know what I mean? You're doing what's best for you in your life, and you're not getting involved in his life.
Yeah, you sound like a good father, Joel.
Why is that hard? You know, why is that hard to accept though?
No, it's only hard for me to accept because I realize I'm being too emotional about it, and I need to step back and, like you're saying, just really look at the bigger picture. So I think I just need to calm myself down and really, and then sit down and talk with him. I think you're right. That sounds excellent, man. That's what I need to do. I need to get myself in a state of mind where it's not emotional. It's just what I think, and because you're right. I snap. Like when I notice when I talk to him, like I'm snappy. Like I don't let him talk. Because I'm like, well, what happened to my brother? You know, like where'd he go?
Yeah. You know? And what's happening, it sounds like you're judging him though, and that's not of love either. You know, right. If you're judging him based off of his lifestyle, even though you disagree with it, and not a helpful lifestyle, but it's not helpful that you're judging him, so you're adding to his misery. You know what I mean? And if you can't help yourself, you want to separate yourself from that, so that way you're working on yourself and he's able to work on himself in peace. You know?
You're right, man. You make me realize that I have some things I need to work on myself, and I think I'm putting this ahead of myself just to avoid maybe what I need to do with myself. I think. Yeah, Joel, you're right, man. You're right.
Yeah, then I appreciate the call too, but just it's his own life. That's all I'm saying. I have a very similar situation that I've been dealing with a lot of my life too, so I totally understand where you're coming from, but you got to just let him live his life. It has nothing to do with you. And let's just say you guys never, God forbid, but let's just say you guys never talk again, it shouldn't affect you in this way. It shouldn't have this emotional. He has the right to live his own life, and you should be living your own life, and let that be what it is. but you shouldn't try to change him try to change you, or it's because he's my brother. None of that is real. It's fake attachment. You want to be able to, grow to a place where because it may not happen right away, but grow to a place where you don't need anybody's love or anybody's, you don't need your brother there, your mom, your family to be tight. You want to be able to live your own life, and whoever doesn't get it, or they're not understanding your belief, or you don't understand, like, then they have a right to go live their life and do whatever they want to do.
Understood. Yeah, man, you're right. That's being an individual. That's being an adult. You're right.
And work on your own, work on your own self and develop and see why you're being bothered so much, which is a whole nother conversation, but I'm so out of time. Call me again, maybe this week, tomorrow, if you're up to it or you have time, and then we'll get more into it if you want to. But I got to end.
Appreciate it, Joel. Thank you again, man. You're very helpful, man. Thank you for that insight.
Yeah,
I needed that.
No problem, Anthony. I appreciate the call as well. Call me again.
All right, Joe. Take care.
All right. I got to end, guys. Callers, to the rest of the callers, Serge and the others, I can't get to you today, but if you want to pick back up on this tomorrow, I don't mind. I'll get to you and we can get into it, and I'll get to you soon. I'll get you quick. That way we'll have time to talk about what you want to talk about. Thank you guys for tuning in and all that good stuff, super chats, all that stuff. Just A1. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. I got to end. Make sure you guys tune in at 2 p.m. to Punchy TV's premiere episode 3. Episode 3 premiering at 2 p.m. Pacific time, Punchy TV. And Punchy TV is a show with myself and 3 of the other hosts that are a part of the JOP network. And it's good. They've been, the past episode been on fire. So you don't want to miss it. You want to make sure you tune in, and it'll give you something else to watch, right? Amazing stuff. I got to end. American Anchor Baby also coming in at 4 p.m. So you can also check that out as well. Until next time, guys. Bye. Oh, shoot.